Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and crazy-ass Disney conspiracy theories where Tarzan, in some way, shape, or form, is the brother of Anna and Elsa. If you didn't know that, damn, you need to let it go.
I knew that a whole 60 seconds ago.
Yeah, Brandon just rocked our world right before we started this show.
It's old news.
And then we went into a rabbit hole.
It came out a while ago.
Yeah, but we didn't know.
Told us, dude, like, how long have we been doing this show together? And you just told us? By the way, we got to celebrate our anniversary soon.
I didn't get you any flowers.
I'm not a chocolate person. So,
we're not a hugging family. We do it every week, guys. Tell me what you've been up to. Tank, what you been doing, dude?
Man, I've been mad that Dragon Ball Super didn't come out with an episode this week.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, well, it's because
like at
the
all,
next episode is going to be the big Goku Jiren fight, like the final bout. It's going to be it's shaping up to be pretty epic. And but I did find out, so I went back and was watching the beginning of Dragon Ball. So when I started watching Dragon Ball Super, I skipped until after the Resurrection F parts because I was like, whatever, I saw both movies. But I'm rewatching it in dub just because. And they're actually a lot more into the story that I had no idea that they put into like the anime that weren't in the movies. So it was actually worth going back and watching. I had no idea.
They added like filler with substance, right?
Yeah, pretty much. There were some things that differentiated that deferred from the movies, but ultimately we end up in the same spot because those movies are canon, so they couldn't go crazy.
Yeah,
but it was cool. I mean, like seeing Captain Ginyu come back. He definitely wasn't part of the movie, but he definitely was still around in the show, and I got a kick out of that as an old school DBZ fan.
I was about to say, if you're a Ginyu fan, he just shoo.
No, as an old school DBZ fan, it was cool seeing him. Otherwise, other anime is Black Clover still going, but I'm getting pumped for My Hero Academy Season 3. It's going to be epic. Oh, and I just got free early passes to go see Tomb Raider next week, so hopefully I'll be able to make it to that.
I didn't even know that was coming out this soon.
Yeah, it comes out.
Completely forgot the release date.
I think it was soon.
Saturday after next, but I'm going to my tickets are for Wednesday for the early viewing showing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Wait, how did you get tickets?
So AMC emailed me, and I got them through GoFobo.com.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, wait, the Nerds from Work got tickets and somehow Tank just gets them? Oh, yeah, no, I got them.
He does the most work, so...
Yeah,
it was AMC Stubbs member, and so they emailed me and were like, hey, do you want free passes to Tomb Raider? I was like, hell yeah, I do.
It was like a rock, paper, read email first. Naru, what have you been up to, dude?
I don't know if you guys heard, some huge entertainment company took full ownership of Valiant Comics, and I realized
Forever 21?
I don't
Yeah, I heard that they did that, man.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I have really not read anything. Like, Valiant is like a black hole to me. I haven't looked into any of their stuff, so I thought...
Isn't Ninjak Valiant?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Ninjak
yes, he is.
I gotta say, that's a character I finally...
JDF.
I mean, I didn't know anything about Valiant, Manowar, that whole posse of, all their story arcs and everything. So I thought, all right, let me try something new. So I spent a lot of time reading up those guys, and it's been interesting. I'll say that.
Hey, Jason, didn't
Valiant
Powell
is super dark.
draw for them?
It is. It's pretty dark, but not invincible dark.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how we just had two conversations overlap
At the same time, yeah.
That was pretty.
No.
You're so rude.
And I think that I was in both of them.
You were.
Okay.
That's the best part of it.
So what Brandon was saying is, I have a buddy Powell who actually drew for Valiant for just a few books. I think he did XO, Man of War. But to Naru's thing, yes, Valiant is super, super, super fucking dark. And I love Ninjak because he is a super dark Nightwing.
Yeah, he does seem to be an interesting character. It's not only, I mean, he's clearly coming from a very dark place, but
Yeah, he's super fucked up.
like there was in the arc I was reading. There's a whole series of moments where like he would take out a whole bunch of aliens and take out a whole bunch of stuff, and then
Wait, what series are you reading? Are you reading the original that came out in like the 90s? Okay, yeah, my dad has the full run of Ninjak.
It wasn't the 90s. I don't think I went back that far.
Okay, so there's the 90s, and then there's the ones they just re-released in like
20-something,
2014, 2015,
thereabouts.
And I have all those.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I've got all those. Where he's trying to stop like a crime syndicate, basically, from a large weapons deal.
No. I started by reading the team ups first, so I wasn't really reading Ninjak's storyline. So so Bloodshot, Ninjak, Man of War, a whole bunch of series, very interesting stories, and I am going to dive further into those at some point.
Yeah, and those are awesome, man. The Ninjak just came out with a new one called Ninja K, and that's I'm trying to get into that. That one's a lot harder than the other one, but. Brandon, what have you been up to, dude?
Yeah, so I've actually been watching Doctor Who. I mentioned it before our show last time, but I don't think it was actually on the show. My roommate got me into it, mainly because she likes this painting, which I'm an art fan too. Which I don't know if I can show you this.
Yep, we see it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like a Starry Night, but it's the exploding TARDIS. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, you like art and painting and stuff. You like look at this. This is like really
Is that a jigsaw puzzle?"
Yeah, dude, 1,000 pieces. That's what I was doing while you guys were talking before. That's why I was like super close to the camera. I was like putting random pieces together. Which you can ask Jason. We've never done a puzzle before ever in our household.
My wife loves doing puzzles.
Never done a puzzle.
I really enjoy doing those, but my kids won't let me do them, so I just don't bother anymore.
We had like the 6-piece puzzles that were for babies, but now they have like pieces like this. Like, what the fuck is this? It's not even a puzzle piece. But yeah, so she had told me how cool it was and explained a lot of the story to me. And it seemed really cool, but I remember a long time ago I tried to watch one of the episodes, and the like graphics and stuff were just so bad that I couldn't get into it. Like the same reason why I don't like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Just like it seems like a cool game, and I love those types of games, but the graphics are so bad that it doesnn't click with me. There still has to be an aesthetic to something for me to like it. So she was like,
they don't let aesthetics stop a good story. That's one thing about the British.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah,
but
they also don't have good food.
I mean, the British will make a really good story with the ugliest looking TV people. Like, they don't care. Yeah. Like they'll cast whoever's really good for the story.
Yeah, but so she told me, she was like, just start at season 5 because it's a new Doctor. So it's kind of like Matt Smith.
Oh, Matt Smith. Oh God. Okay.
Is that his name? With that bow tie and fish and gravy and stuff.
That's 2 Doctors after the reboot. That's
yeah. So she was like, this is around like 2010, 11ish, and she was like, so like CGI is hitting its stride.
Sure.
And she was like, this guy's a really good actor too.
Yeah.
So it's
Matt Smith was an awesome Doctor. I like David Tennant too. If you go back one more Doctor, because Eccleston only did 1 season, and then he didn't get along with the writers, so But then David Tennant, who was the Purple Man,
he did like 3 or something, right?
What's that?
He did like 3, didn't he?
He did like 3 seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's an incredible actor.
Who did? Eccleston?
No, well, yes, but David Tennant is who I'm talking about. His portrayal of the Purple. What's that?
Anyway, I thought you said he did just 1 season.
Eccleston, Christopher Eccleston, who was the main elf in Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say elf.
Because him and the writers didn't get along, so he ended up dropping after 1 season, and then David Tennant took over. And like I said, the Purple Man and Jessica Jones,
Harry Potter,
where he played a creepy AF villain in that show. And so,
I first saw him in Harry Potter. He was the guy who would like do his tongue weird.
Bart,
I can't remember the guy's name.
What's his face? Barty Crouch.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sorry, he was what?
Barty Crouch. We're gonna get in the next topic. We're gonna get into why I know that.
Crouch. You said crouch.
That's not what Jason heard the first time.
I heard dirty crotch.
Party
He played dirty crotch in Harry Potter.
Freaking Jake.
Oh, okay.
It was literally just
Cool,
his
man.
face like photoshopped on people's crotches.
Yeah, it's old dirty crotch over there.
Yeah, but regardless, I kind of got hooked on it. It's very good storytelling. Also, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the sister that's like all blue and she's like half.
Yes,
she's
Amy
like
Pond. Karen Gillian's the actress.
Yeah, Karen Gillian. She's in it.
Yep.
Everybody in it is like very famous, actually.
Yeah. So Rory, or what's his name? What's Amy Pond?
Yeah, it's Rory.
Yeah, Rory. He's the main guy in Legends of Tomorrow. He plays Rip Hunter.
Yeah, like it's all.
Yeah.
It's like before they were all super. Like it's a very good stepping stone for people's careers for sure. You can kind of like Game of Thrones or something.
Unless you're the Doctor, then you're typecast as the Doctor.
He won like millions of things, and then also the other. Doctor,
as the Doctor though.
No, he's in a Netflix original series right now. Matt Smith is.
Matt Smith?
Yeah. And
What is he doing?
I can't remember what it's called. Tank can probably look it up on Google super fast.
I could.
Because he always does that. But yeah, he's like doing fairly well in something current too. But yeah, the guy who was in like Harry Potter and Purple Man and stuff, that was his like start to as Doctor Who. But yeah, so like I definitely understand, and I'm also weird about loving the like space-time continuum and different weird stuff like that, like sciencey stuff. So like
timey-wimey. Yo, you won't get that because that's David Tennant.
No, he says it in this one too.
He does, but Tennant's
in
the first one to say it.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy how they like tie stuff together, and it's definitely one of those shows where like if you see an episode, it's like villain of the week style stuff, but each season is a full story, so it definitely has like there's like clues, and if you're actually trying to outthink what's happening, which I enjoy doing that with shows and movies, and I know Jason does too, so he might actually enjoy the show if you get in at the right time and whatever. But it's definitely one of those things like if you're trying to outthink it and you're like, oh look, that crack is the same shape as that other crack, or that's kind of giving something away. But still, it's like then when everything comes around at the end of the season, you're like, oh god, see, I knew that, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, it makes so much sense because so and so just left the episode randomly at this point, or said this one line that didn't make sense and now it all makes sense. It's one of those things, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So it makes you want to watch the whole season, like each season at a time, instead of just like, let me watch an episode. Right. It's like it's very much like, let me remember what happened in the last episode so I can try to apply it. It's really cool, and I'm enjoying it a lot. But yeah, that's basically all the nerdiness I've been doing.
Doctor Who is a whole trench full of nerdiness.
Oh
yeah,
there's a whole subculture for Whoville.
And I don't think I'm that.
We're called Whovians.
I don't think I'm that deep in it.
That's what the group, the name of the group is.
Yeah, Whoville.
I don't think I'm that deep, but I definitely do enjoy watching the show a lot. And I'm like, okay, when I'm going to bed or before I go to bed or while I eat dinner or something, I definitely want to watch this.
Well, like I said last time, I got traumatized as a kid with Doctor Who.
Which I could definitely see that, because some of it's actually scary.
Yo,
like some of it, you're
watching that as a kid, and that
some of them I'm like that shit's like scary.
What's the angels? The
not the angels. The one where they disappear when you look away.
Yeah, they're angels. They're like these concrete statue angels.
No, the one where they're actually aliens and they have to like mark their hand every time they see one.
Oh, that's the silence.
Yeah, that's the silence.
The silence was scary.
Yeah, that one's scary.
It's like, wait, what? Like,
the silence,
and then they
is
look
like,
away and it's like their whole face is marked up.
So that's how it is. Like the first episode of each season, like put something in play. The silence is the first episode of the 6th season, but their story ends at the end of the season.
Right.
So like,
the
end of that episode. Yeah, the Weeping Angels. The end of the silence episode though, like the silence is behind everything through the season, and it all comes back at the end where it's like, oh shit, this is why we didn't know this was happening, and this person disappeared, and all this because they're running all this. It's fucking wild. The Weeping Angels are.
I hear Doctor Who right now. Did I?
Yeah.
What is that
I
noise?
hear it too. It's a tank, probably.
It's
No.
a tank.
I wish.
Oh, it's
I hear it
Maru
in
and
my-
his shit-eating grin.
I've definitely grown to like
That's
that show a lot. Yeah,
That's good,
it's
man.
really cool. Yeah, really
You
cool.
have,
to
you
just
have my
watch.
sincere sympathies. That's all I can.
Yeah, I could definitely, if I saw it as a little kid, it would be scarier than the X-Files.
Yeah.
Dude, the X-Files is sweet, though.
Yeah, it's sweet, but I
Anyway.
was also very young when Dad was watching it.
That's true. So, this week, I have been reading comics, trying to catch up on a lot of other different things. You guys can check out my review. I should have a couple more up this week. Maybe by the end of the weekend, whenever Tank feels like getting around to uploading them, or I feel like doing them, whatever. I've been reading a lot of comics. Brave and the Bold, Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. Old Man Hawkeye is on my list to do. New comics dropped today. I'm going to go to the store tomorrow, first thing, go pick some up, and try and get an up-to-date review out for you guys. Other than that, I've been watching My Hero Academia. Okay, and Tank and I talked about this. We're probably, once I catch up and finish season 2, we're probably going to do a recap of the show before season 3 launches. And that'll be in the Tube. What are we
We
calling
haven't
that one?
announced the names.
Oh. Yes, we have, because I've already dropped Comic Corner.
Comic Corner. Yeah.
Anyway,
We don't have that
yeah,
one.
okay. So we're gonna do a review. We're gonna do a review of the first 2 seasons of My Hero Academia and kind of what we think, and if you should jump in or not. So, I've been catching up on that, dude. And I'll give you my 2 cents right here.
No.
Before we get into it, no. Before we get into like a huge debate about it.
Instead of my 2 cents, can you just give me an overview of what it is? Because I didn't understand what you were saying in the group chat.
Like every single time they type My Hero Academia or he says My Hero Academia, I think he's talking about an actual Hero Academia that's his.
Dude, I should join it.
Because he owns it. It's his.
Yeah. It's
Boom! I should join it.
Plus.
So basically, it's about
really doing this?
a society where superheroes are like a common thing, and you go to a school to learn how to manage your quirk, is what they call it. It's like once
So it's like
they're
an anime
mutants.
version of X-Men.
Yeah, it's like X-Men Evolution, but anime.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
like
it's like
not
X-Men
everyone.
anime / superhero high.
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why would you
And
think?
Naruto.
Why would you think I wouldn't like that?
Yeah.
Because it's an anime.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it is good though. It is pretty good. Like the some of the superpowers that they come up with. Brandon, do you remember every time when we were trying to generate superheroes, I would always say I want a hero that could if you touch something, you generate enough pressure. You're not super strength, but if I wanted to touch a nail, I could drive a nail with my finger just by the amount of pressure, just in one touch.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the main hero has.
Oh, that's cool.
He can generate any dude. Tank, you're looking. Go back.
No,
when he's throwing the softball, when he's doing all these things, it's like his fingertip, his arm, his leg, his feet, his toes,
he can
his eyes.
where the strength goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He generates power to a certain thing.
It's not muscular. It's just.
Not
Yeah, he's not he's not like the Hulk. No.
No.
But it's actually really, really cool. So yeah, I've been doing that and just trying to catch up, really. Trying to catch up to what Tank's doing. Trying to read as many comics as Naru, and then be as laid back and cool as Brandon. I'm just trying to be a jack of all trades, guys.
That never happened. Cashing up to me, because here's the thing. And I'll say this right now. The reason why it's not going to happen is because you don't have the budget for it. Because I don't spend, and you will. You won't.
We pay for everything we do, guys. Don't listen.
That's true. Everything.
I mean, I'll spend eventually, but to get into it.
Brought to you by our sponsor, Weed Mats, where they will deliver weed to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Weed Max. They deliver primarily to Tank's house because he snags those emails just like those fucking tickets. All right, guys. So this week was a light week on news. I know that there are a few things that Naru wanted to talk about news-wise. I'm sure Naru's going to drop that shit in Twitter. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes because Tank has to edit this, and we've got to do a lot of things. We've all got lives. I've got to finish this whiskey. Keep it trill. But the topic of the night, comic books, manga, the whole genre, right? Why do we still read them as adults, and what's the benefit? Why do we still do it?
I have a question. So is this like reading like nonfiction, or is this reading books with pictures?
Books with pictures.
Okay, because I was like,
not
okay,
nonfiction.
Because I was like, okay, there's like fantasy novels and stuff.
Right. No.
Like, do those
comic
come
books,
into this? Okay.
Comic books and manga. So, like, I think that manga is kind of along the same lines as comic books.
It is.
There's a story. There's art. It's it's all put together.
Same thing.
Whereas a fantasy novel.
Country.
Yeah, I enjoy fantasy novels, but my mind is picturing it. But it's no longer an artist rendering something for me. So, what do you guys think the reasons you read, and why should adults look at it, pick it up, even give this a shot?
Ooh. Why should they, if they've never been into comics and manga, should they start now?
Yeah, like, why should they?
Okay. So, I know for me, it comes down to the stories. Like, yeah, there's, like, pictures, but it comes down to, like, the characters and the stories. You find,
Wow.
Can't see it.
Naru J. Jason won't let me discuss movie news. Wah, wah.
But yeah, it comes down to when you find so for instance, one of the manga that I'm reading is actually a Korean manga. Most manga is from Japan. This was actually Korean. It's called The Gamer, and it's about this whole underworld where people have these abilities. And this guy's abilities, he literally is a video game character in real life. He pulls up a status window and it shows all his attributes, and he can power up. He earns points just like he's a video game character. And it's all about this normal kid being sucked into this underworld fighting bad guys, but it's all about character growth and story and the people he meets and the villains he meets. But it's what would life be like if you were in your favorite video game? And so when you find stories like that, you jump into them.
Okay. Naru, what are your thoughts?
When you threw out the topic, my first thought was, are we approaching this from how do you overcome the stigma of reading as a grown-up point of view?
We can get there. Are we just
going to express our own individual reasons and remember why we love this art form?
You talk about whatever your heart desires.
Yeah, what do you feel like talking about?
Well, I'm not exactly asking you. You realize that was rhetorical, right? My point was, I tried to figure out where he thought he was going.
No such thing as a rhetorical question when you're on a show with the Miller boys.
That's a good point.
We're going to answer it.
I should remember that.
We're going to answer you.
I should remember that, yeah. So, anyway, I guess for me, I just do stuff I like doing no matter what anybody says. And when it boils down to it, comic books, to be honest, things have changed. They really have come up in the world. Comic books used to be considered, to be honest, you go back and read some of the older stuff, you'd be like, yeah, it's a bit low. The bar was kind of low for some stories. But now they've come up in the world, man. Those are really good storytelling mediums, and sometimes you can deal with issues in comic book form that most people, wouldn't be able to express some other way. Also, I've noticed that a good number of some of the best TV shows and movies I've come across in recent time originated in comic book form, just because that was a medium that gave the artist a chance to express or gauge interest, like Dark Matter, or even that Vin Diesel Dark, what's it called? The one where he's Riddick.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black, yeah. So you find that there's a whole lot of that out there. But as a whole, I've always read comic books because I liked the stories. I just like the expressions of superheroics and escapism. That's a big thing for me. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who likes watching thrillers and movies about real life, or this is based on the fact. If you show me a TV series and say based on the true story, I'm almost 9 times out of 10 likely to change the channel, just because I have enough drama in my life and I don't really want to, spend too much time dwelling on yours. Thank you very much.
Watching the news.
Documentaries.
That's kind of my point. The news alone has enough drama. I don't really need a story about it. Although, and so I will give it a chance if I think it's really worth my time. So escapism is a big thing for me, and comic books really afford me that medium. So that's one real big reason why I spend time on that stuff.
Okay, Brandon, what do you think?
I think Naru had a good point in his first point of doing something that you enjoy doing because you enjoy doing it. Like, as cliche as it sounds, like, yeah, you're gonna die. Like, that's sad, but like, everybody's gonna die. Stop trying to act cooler than you are and not do something that you might enjoy just because you're scared of what other people might think. Like, that's the shittiest thing you could do with your life. Like, it blows my mind that so many people waste so much of their time being like, oh, I'm a male, so I need to act macho to other males. I'm, whatever. I'm around a group of people, so I need to like what they like, or pretend to like what they like, or everybody's drinking, I don't drink that much, let me drink because I'm around these people. Like, shit like that is so annoying. And a lot of, almost everybody that you meet in the culture of like nerdy things, whether it's anime, manga, comic books, you go to Comic-Con and you see people in their comfort zone that you've seen them everywhere else, and you just see them around other people, like-minded people. They seem totally different, and it's because they're like, I can actually express that I like this thing. In other social groups, I can't really express this, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has these feelings. It's really sad to me just to see people not dive into something because they're scared of societal stigmatisms of what people think about people who do these things. That's a different point in my book than why people should, or why I do, read comic books or manga or watch anime and stuff like that. But that's a great point, by the way. I like, when you get older, I don't know if this is everybody, but as I've gotten older, I feel like you stress so much about real life stuff, and my job is more creative than a lot of other jobs, but I find it way harder to be creative now that I'm old, right? Like, I don't have the daily, oh, this would be tight, this would be a cool story. If a superhero had this, that would be so cool. This power, like Jason said, we used to talk about this stuff all the time. Like, oh, this power would be so cool. I remember one of the weirdest ones that I thought was so cool was, that doesn't sound really obscure, but it's just like harnessing different energies. But like the different types of energy that you harness.
I remember that one.
It turns into a different power. So it's like, oh, kinetic energy, when I release this kinetic energy, I built up, it's this. When I release this potential energy, it's this. When I release this solar energy, it's this. And it, like, all the different powers are based off the energy of the person. And like, I came up with that a long time ago. But now if Jason asked me, hey, come up with 10 superpowers, I'd be like, fuck, flight, super strength, like dumb shit. Because like when you get older, you lose this sense of freedom and how you forget how to think like that.
Be a kid.
You're old.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're getting old and you're stressed and stressors are taking up that space in your brain that's supposed to be for creative stuff. Or I've tried to start back in art and just painting with stuff. I never was a painter. I'm colorblind, and I'm just like, let's watercolor. Like I'm gonna paint with watercolor. I've never even colored any of my pictures because I hate it. I'm like,
nope, I hate coloring.
Yeah, I do everything in black and white.
I hate that.
But I was like, I'm gonna take a blank piece of paper and just do watercolor on it. Not even draw, just fucking colors. Just to like try to trigger some of these things that I feel like I'm missing from when I was younger, and staying in these, like, reading comic books and like watching anime and reading manga and stuff like that. It's like it has the picture element that the book doesn't. So like it's almost like training wheels, right? It's like I don't have to work extra hard to imagine what this person looks like, to try to do this. It's like I see it. I can see the battle in front of me. I'm not working harder to try to do this. And the stories, like Tank said, the stories are so good. And those stories there's not a lot of books based around superhero stories or based around the stories that you see in like manga and stuff. It's just a different genre. And this genre has really good art to go along with it, and it's tight, and it's cool to see stuff. And then every kid in my generation grew up drawing Dragon Ball Z characters. Like,
yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That didn't happen because in your brain you're like, oh, let me think of this. Like if that was a book, no one would have drawn Goku. No one would have even like thought Goku looked like that. But something about seeing it, something about seeing what's happening, seeing this portrayed in an art style triggers that creative sense in your brain, and you can say, oh, that guy was like this, I'm going to do this. No one's creating anything new. That hasn't happened for ages. So like it takes one type of creative outlet to spark something else in your brain. And without picture books, adults don't really have that, right? It would just all be, what does your brain think? And we're all gonna fucking draw stick figures. So I think it's good to help keep like the juices flowing and stuff.
Stay young.
Yeah, like stop being old. Like go freaking to a trampoline park. Like
I did that.
Fuck yeah, those things are awesome.
I did that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
like
dude, go to a ninja park. Ultimate Ninja Warrior. Fuck yeah, those things are awesome. Hell yeah, those things are awesome.
Yeah.
Like
I can do everything at the Ultimate Ninja Park, but not back to back. I take like a 3-minute break. I'm like, all right, you saw me do it.
All right.
I'm gonna breathe for a second.
I'll come back.
Hold on, I'm gonna be right there.
In that vein, I can tell you categorically, I can start everything at an Ultimate and a Ninja Warrior Park. I can start every single thing.
Like I do it good, but then it's like after that one event, right? I'm like,
I'm white.
I'm done. Like everyone's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the fucking. And they're like, oh, is he gonna go to the next one? No, I got kids. I'm gonna see what my kids are doing. I'm gonna let you guys try it for a little bit. I'm gonna
go drink a Capri Sun. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Need to get some electrolytes. I'll be back.
Up with a fruit roll up.
Yeah. So I think you guys all hit it pretty much on the head. I am gonna throw something else in. Yes, the topic is adults and comic books, and do I think you guys should read them? And do you think you should get into it? And everyone's touching it, but in all honesty, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching us on YouTube, if if your friend told you about us or whatever, they read a fucking comic book, right? Like somebody reads a fucking comic book. So like, and I noticed this, my fiance, she had a bridal shower. and the bride's soon-to-be husband came over. I met him. Super cool guy. And he came upstairs and he started looking around. And he was like, "Oh, dude, you read comics?" And I was like, "Yeah, I owned it, right? Like, I'm not gonna hide my comic books and shit, right? Like, I'm not just gonna hide stuff when people come over and just got holes on the wall and shit." So I was like, "Yeah, I read comic books." And he was like, "Oh, well, okay." The next week, "So what do you think about DC Metal?" "I like it." That guy has literally texted me almost every single week. He is now a subscriber to this show. He gives me feedback on this show. Like, the guy loves comic books just because he came and he saw another adult was reading comics. So it wasn't like he didn't have to hide that anymore. Like, I think as an adult, we get into this, and it doesn't have to be comic books. Like, you know, Brandon and I build models. We build Gundam models. If you guys don't know what Gundam is, go fuck yourself. A lot of adults play video games, right? I read comic books, models. I play some video games. I'm not really good at that. But I do these things, and I don't hide it. Like, shit, I just posted on Twitter. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I know these guys do. My Millennium Falcon tie and tie clasp because I'm a fucking nerd, right? And I'm going to wear that shit to work because I don't care. I think it's amazing. Like, I think it's awesome. Like, I was so happy. But I think a big part of it is owning who you are, because as an adult, I don't think that we're any less interested in it. I think that we're still interested. Our minds are still the same. Some of us grow up. Right? My dad is, how old is Dad, Brandon? 50, 58? 58?
I don't know.
60? Whatever, he's old.
I don't know, he's old.
Guy still enjoys The Punisher to this day. And if you go ask him, he will tell you that he enjoys The Punisher because he owns it. He doesn't hide it. He's not embarrassed by it. I met Tank's dad for the first time earlier this month.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is a nerd too.
Yes, he is.
And he owns it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's proud of it. And I think that if we all do that, right? Like, I'm not embarrassed to say that I read comic books, you know? And it's not just an adult thing. I think it's just a society thing. Yeah. And nowadays, society is pushing more towards, you know, nerds are cool. You know, there are people now saying like, "Oh yeah, I used to read Captain America back in." No, shut the fuck up, you didn't. No, you didn't. You don't know who the fuck he was. Like, let's be honest. I'm a fucking superhero fanatic, and I barely read any Captain America. Right? Like, I found better heroes than Captain America. So don't sit there and say you're a fucking Cap fan.
I think it comes down to. It helps kind of like Brandon said when he was talking about when, like, if you go to Comic-Con, surround yourself with like-minded people. Like, if I was never, okay, hold on to your shorts. I was never the cool kid in school. I know that's hard.
What?
No. I know.
What?
I know how many, you know,
the world is
football.
over.
Like, I understand the rules. It's fine. But be who you are. Find people who are like you. Like, okay, so this is a Deadpool shirt. I put this shirt on for the show, but I just went to my closet and it was the top one in my stack of Dr. Fate, Marvel, DC, Star Trek. Like, all I own are these, like, nerdy shirts. All my hoodies. I just bought a Star Wars hoodie at Walmart yesterday. That's like the big Rebel sign. And, like, I wear those to my, like, 9-to-5 corporate job. And people are always like, "Oh, cool!" Like I had a Flash jacket and a Superman, like a bright blue Superman jacket. They're like, "Yeah, okay, I'll wear a polo and khakis because I have to," but I still wear like my Superman hoodie over it.
Yeah, I definitely think there are like levels of owning it, right? So like that's a level, right? Like I could wear shirts. How many times have I worn a shirt on this show?
Never.
You're wearing
well,
a
I mean,
shirt
I
now.
wear shirts, but like a comic book or superhero shirt. I do have an Ultraman shirt.
You do have some anime shirts.
Yeah. Did you?
You have an initial D shirt. That's dope.
Yeah, I do. I do have an initial t-shirt.
That's real dope.
That's not. I thought it was right there, but
You know, on the issue of culture. I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like, there's part of it that's owning it in terms of like scream it to the world, and I'm not trying to pick on you, Tank, but in high school I was considered the cool kid, right? I like got like prom king and bullshit, but I didn't even run. They just voted me in. It's not my fault. But
he won, and he still thinks he's too cool for it. I mean, can you?
I hated it. I hated it so much. But yeah, part of why people were like gravitated towards me is like, oh, I like this person, was because I wasn't scared to just, when someone asked me if I played Pokemon, I was like, fuck yeah, I play Pokemon. Like I'm still playing Pokemon in high school. Like I don't care. Like that was. Cool.
I'm out of high school. I like Pokemon still.
I still play Pokemon.
I'll play that shit.
I'm just saying, like, there's definitely fake people that are like, materialistic stuff is what makes you cool and stuff like that. But and then there's also like, yeah, own it. But then there's a level of like, yeah, just don't deny it. Like,
right.
I don't go to every person I know and say like, oh, I like this, and this. But when the electrician was here and he noticed I have a shelf in the other room that has a bunch of nerd shit on it, and he was like, oh, do you like Gundam? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, cool, we could hang out here. But then other people, when they look at that shelf, they're like, oh, you like photography? You have all these cool old cameras. And then it's like, there's part of it of like telling people what you like, and then there's part of it of just, I don't deny it and put fake things out there that I don't like.
Right.
And I think that's a huge thing too, right? Like, so Tank openly said, not a very popular guy in high school. Actually, I think you were popular. I just think that
I think everybody loved you, and that's what popularity is.
Like, I think that's what it really was. Like, everyone liked Tank.
Everybody probably loved the shit out of Tank.
Yeah.
Tank, I'll say this right here, man. You're one of my better friends.
Me too. I've only met you face to face a couple times.
Like twice.
Like the nicest dude I've ever met.
So
I'm yet to meet Tank face.
We went and saw
put that out there. I'm yet to meet Tank face to face to chest maybe. Yeah, but
okay, I see.
Yeah, Tank was much smaller in person.
I
but see, that's
the frame on camera, so I look taller.
This whole show, right? This whole show came around because I was not embarrassed, and I'll put this one on my fucking shoulder. I'll boast a little bit. I was not afraid of who I am, right? And my dad knows that. So when my dad met Tank for the first time, Tank showed up in a fucking Flash jacket.
See, told you.
And my dad was like, "You like the Flash?" And Tank said, "Yes, sir. I like superheroes." He was like, "Oh, okay." Immediately calls me, "Jason, there's a guy at class. You need to come here. You need to meet him." "What's up?" "Oh, you'll see. You'll know when he shows up." Shows up in a fucking Superman jacket. Okay, this is Tank. And Tank and I have been good friends ever since. Naru started at our old job, and he comes in. We both started talking comics right off the rip. And that's how this whole show was born, right? Like, Brandon and I have known each other forever, so I know that Brandon's a fucking nerd.
My whole life.
Yeah.
I thought you were
know Brandon his whole life.
I thought you were going to talk about what I was doing at work every day. Come on, man.
No, yeah, because you wore the same Black Panther t-shirt like 800 times in a row. Like, dude, come on. How many of those things you have? What are you, fucking
now,
Doug Funny?
Saying.
Yeah. He's lying.
Doug Funny
But
now?
I did want to say something earlier. I just remembered. On the issue of culture, it's interesting because you find that over time, it depends on the kinds of comics that become really popular, I guess. Because if you go to like Belgium, France, certain parts of the world, comic books, American comic books in particular, were not too popular there. But you did have a culture where, like in England,
Asterix.
No, not asterisks. In England, they had I've mentioned those to you before, the black and white commando comics, where it's all about war stories, World War II, World War One, stories like that. I came across a whole lot of those growing up myself, and people used to read those, but most guys who read them as they grew older used to pretend they didn't read them. In England, and you would find in places like Italy, Belgium, France, those other comics. Asterix, Tintin.
That's French.
Those became.
Asterix is French, I think.
It's actually
right?
Belgian. Actually, Belgian. French Belgian.
Is it?
But the thing was, they really did kind of capture the cultural zeitgeist, because the older guys, an older gentleman would pick up one of those comics and read it and not feel ashamed as such. That's why I think they got translated to about 60 million copies in 100 plus languages. So you find that some cultures respect certain things if they came across as artistic. American comic books started out more as, slapsticky, humor, all that other kind of stuff. So,
Batman was never slapsticky.
Yeah, never. Forget those. Yeah, all of that never happened. But the point being, some cultures embraced certain things because they were considered actually sort of intellectual, and other cultures repressed it over time. But we have reached a point now where the nerds have won. So everybody's trying to rediscover their nerdishness. Comic books, all that stuff is cool again. However, for some reason, in America, I think you're having a situation where people are gravitating towards the visual forms and away from comic books. Because I keep reading about how this.
In all honesty, that's fine, right? Like in all honesty,
as long as the stories survive,
the story is there, right? Like the people are still getting paid, and not everyone. Comic books are not for everyone, right? Like I can't sit down and say, "Oh, everyone should pick up a comic." There's definitely one out there for you. Because some people are boring fucks.
That is true.
And they're not going to want to read, right? But there are a lot of different books out there. Like one of my good buddies, he hates, despises what he calls capes. All superhero shit, he hates it. He would much rather read a book about financial espionage or the end of the world, like humans eating each other, or Vikings, or something else. There's so many different levels. There is a comic book, no joke, about women's roller hockey or roller derby.
Nice.
There's a fucking comic book on that.
I found out. I read
Whoever's reading that, good on you.
There's a comic book on people who use sex to rob places.
Yeah, there are tons of books out there. So for someone to sit there and go, well, I hate Batman, so I hate comic books. That's like me saying, well, I really don't like Chinese food, so I hate martial arts movies.
Yeah. Well, Barbra Streisand didn't really do it for me, so I don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Hanks in that one movie sucked, so...
And here's something else.
You know what? I hate The Bold and the Beautiful. I don't watch TV.
Here's something else that's really cool, that if we look at the nerd culture as a whole, if you want to find your fix for racism, it's the nerd culture. Look at this show. We have a black guy from Nigeria. We have two guys that are half Chinese.
Mutts. We are straight mutts.
Right?
Super muddy.
And I'm the white guy, right? I get to be the token white guy. That's fine. But like even just in our little group, we have like this smattering of, and like when you go to Comic-Con,
we do have a Bangladeshi guy who joins in from time.
No,
exactly.
not just that level though, Tank. Like not just that level, because in 2018, this could be a group of friends that hang out often, right? Let's take it even further. Brandon was prom king. Tank, did you even go to prom?
I went.
Did you and your wife go to prom?
We did.
Okay. Did you hang out there the whole time? Because I definitely did not. Mom, if you're listening to this, I was there the whole time. If you're not listening to this, I'm pretty sure I was drinking. Okay? So, like there are tons. Like, Brandon went to school. Brandon is super intellectual, prom king, all these things. Tank, IT guy, super smart, said he wasn't popular in high school. I think he's a fucking liar. Me, I got arrested 3 times in high school, right? joined the Marine Corps, all of these different things, a terrible human being, I'm sure. And then we have Naru, who is a terrible human being, period. So, let's break it down, not just by race, right? Yeah. Break it down by our typecast. Like, if we didn't have nerd things in common...
Right, we would...
Like, Naru didn't even go to school here. How do you typecast that guy, right? And so that's the thing is like we can all come together once a week, talk about this show, bash on Naru, do this thing day in, day out, right? And have a good time doing it because of something that we all have in common. The linchpin that we all have in common.
We're going to need counseling after this show, though.
Dude, we're not paying for your counseling.
Really?
Yeah, I'm your counselor, bro.
I thought we had an insurance plan here.
No way. But that's the thing, is like the nerd culture embraces everyone, right? So Brandon and I are nerds. We may not have been seen as nerds in high school, but we are. And when you break it down, Brandon, if you came to me or Brandon in high school, I don't care who you were, dude. If you came to me and you had black clothes on, your fingernails painted, and you said, "Hey man, do you like Initial D?" Fuck yeah, I like Initial D. That shit is awesome. Right? Or Dragon Ball Z or whatever, right? I would have sat down and talked to you.
Yeah, my best friend in high school, Jason is Jake.
Yeah.
In high school, his front two teeth were busted out. He wore the skinniest pants ever, puffy shoes, has long hair, just like he rides BMX and stuff. And I was semi-preppy, right? I played sports and stuff. I didn't necessarily dress preppy, but like I was of that, friend group of playing sports, and those were my friends. And then we had a similar friend. We shared a friend, and then we were at our friend's house together, and then he was like, "Oh, do you like Dragon Ball Z?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we became best friends. Like that's one of the only friends I actually talked to from high school still. And it's because both of us are scrawny little dudes that love Dragon Ball Z. And that summer we just sat in my house and watched the first season of Dragon Ball Z on repeat.
Nice.
And it was so tight. And we became like best friends. But other than that, and like views on life, we didn't have stuff in common. Like he didn't play sports. He, was interested in completely different things than I was interested in terms of what he wanted to do with his life. But like best friends, hung out every single day. Whenever I go home, he's the only person I call. He drove to Boston last summer in July.
Nice.
I haven't even driven to Boston.
Yeah. But it's because we both shared that one thing of like, we like this. Like, we're not afraid to say we like this.
Right.
When other people everybody in our generation basically watched Dragon Ball Z.
Pretty much.
Like, you can't say, like, I've never seen it.
I like Dragon Ball Z, but I watched Dragon Ball Z to get to Gundam. And I think I'm one of the only people on Earth that did
You're older. Like my age. I'm talking like my age.
No, like people my age love Dragon Ball Z. Like Tank.
Yeah, like Tank.
Tank and I are the same age.
But I'm saying like my age.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys
Gundam went off.
Probably one of the best gateway animes because Funimation did such a good job of translating, doing like the voiceovers and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was good.
You're like, oh cool, like, there's other stuff in this style. I just have to read subtitles.
Naru, if you wanted to get into anime, I would recommend Gundam for you. You're a very politically charged individual.
Yeah.
All right.
Gundam would be your cup of tea, I'm telling you. You would like that.
Double O.
But
how do you spell that again?
Gundam.
00.
Is there an H?
Oh yeah, that one would be good. No.
You sure?
Trust me. They just posted something on YouTube. I think I'm about to retweet that on the old tweet machine.
Yeah, Naru is definitely a Gundam 00 person.
American spelling, American pronunciation.
Gundam.
Gundam.
00.
Because I was already going like GUHN. DAMN.
All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for this topic. I think we pretty much covered not just getting into comics, but just being a nerd in general and being a nerd in 2018 and kind of where that stands and where our show stands and where we stand. Dude, I want to thank you guys every week coming on, taking your time. I want to thank everyone that's listening. If you made it this far, congratulations. There's no prize. Prize is we'll be back next week. Tank, tell them where to find you.
Yep, you guys can find me all over the internet at The Caped Critic. Let's see, when does we record? I don't know if I'll be. I don't know. I'm going to see Tomb Raider. I was trying to figure out really quickly if I'll.
Wibbly wobbly, timely wimey.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I may not be the cool kid, but I hacked my way into getting free early passes. So, Mary, will fix your computer.
All right, Naru, tell them where to find you.
At NuruJ, NURUJAY on Twitter. Don't check for me anywhere else. I will block you.
Okay, that's a good one. Brandon, where can they get you, buddy?
You can find me on Things at bmiller425. This season, since we're claiming second season, I gotta think of a new thing. I can't use like date sites. It's gonna be nice. Maybe next episode I'll have it. I'll figure it out.
I was hoping you were coming up with a new dating site. Look, you guys can find me on Twitter at Houdini0333. You can find all four of us on Twitter and Instagram at TheNerdsFromWork. You can catch us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. I don't think we're on Google Play. I don't think we do that yet.
I don't know. You stopped.
Google, you have Android, then you can just go to SoundCloud. Just do that. That's what Naru does. But you can find us there at TheNerdsFromWork. Find all of those things. Check us out on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. If you've got any questions, please send us an email. We'll answer it. If it's not anything to do with Naru. We get a lot of those.
Send
We're not going to answer
emails.
those.
Send emails if you think Jason should update the camera quality for his Comic Corner piece that you can also find linked in the description below.
And you can apply funds to that at GoFundMe, Houdini0333.
And or Craigslist for T3I.
All right, guys.
By the way,
we'll catch you next week.
We also had this situation. We had two guys on the show last week who hadn't seen Black Panther. Write in and let us know if you think they've seen it by now.
I actually second that.
That's a
I was
good
about
one.
to yell at Naru for talking, but I second that.
There you go.
Yeah, wait. Let's all yell at Naru for talking.
No. He
All
actually
right.
got a point.
On the count of three, if you're in your car, 1, 2, 3. Fuck you, Naru. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
That's so funny.
I did see it, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Very good. Love the fucking soundtrack. Been listening to the soundtrack.
Dude.